The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello there. Welcome to the show. Dan here on Propaganda with Michael and with Rob as we dive through the clips that we found on the fan channels that you found, Michael. You're going to take us on a tour of the football world.
Of the south-west-ish, if that includes Swansea.
Yeah. Are we going to tiptoe through Wales as well?
Yeah.
Gently.
In there, back out.
Before we do all
Maybe
that...
get a ferry.
Yeah, actually, that's not a bad idea, yeah. Always been a fan of the ferries. Before we do all that, I need to play you this clip, actually, that's been sent in to us.
Hello, Dave from Basingstoke here. I need some help. I was looking forward to a nice Friday night in, watching the big game. It feels like it's the biggest game of the season, Leicester versus Leeds. And my wife said I should be really excited, actually, because she's managed to secure tickets to see Frozen in the West End for us and our kids. So what I'm after at the moment, are you aware of anybody, a company, anyone really, that could offer some legal advice? I'm possibly thinking divorce, maybe residential property disputes down the line, maybe even personal injury. I don't know how messy this could get. If you're aware of anybody, that would be great. Let me know. Also, given that, costs are rising and this could get very expensive, it'd be great if you knew of anybody that did discount. I don't want to be greedy, maybe 10%. Any ideas, lads? Thanks. Much love. Bye.
That wasn't paid for, by the way. Dave did genuinely send that. Cheers, Dave.
People genuinely shout World's Probate and Conveyancing at me as well.
Yeah. Do they shout about family law?
No, because they don't do that.
Right.
No criminal law.
Yes. Do you know about the family law because you've begged them to save you from this living hell? Or
that's more employment disputes with you, etc.
I was going to say, do people often ask you for advice at how to avoid their family? I've heard you're quite an expert in that.
Someone stopped me in the street in Pontefract the other day, asked me if I knew anyone that did conveyancing.
Right.
Did explain then he did listen to the podcast, which I'd guessed. But
it's always good when you have to explain the jokes, just in case people are in any doubt. 10% discount on your legal fees, by the way. levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Thanks to Levi's for their support, just despite everything, despite all this.
We do a bloody good job for those guys.
We do.
We're propping them up in some ways.
Right. Yeah. Looking forward to the next round of renewal talks after that. Right, where are we going then, Michael, on your tour?
Oh, Plymouth again.
Back to Devon.
Might as well, haven't we? Cornish Janner again.
The Cornish Janner's the one, if you caught the show earlier in the season, the home game, Cornish Janner, as we mentioned on the most recent Propaganda that featured these lot, Cornish Janner was very impressed by the Asda supermarket headquarters in Leeds.
It was green. It was in Leeds. It was exciting to see. It's a fairly nondescript sort of a building, isn't it? But
they don't have many buildings in Devon.
Is that right?
Apparently so.
But they're just introducing them.
Yeah, just rolling them out there for those guys. Just a new development.
Cool.
New thing there.
It's all ships until recently.
Ships and sailors, yes.
Yeah. It's starting to sound like Jonathan Pierce now.
We were discussing the accent the moment we were down there. But during the game, we were saying, I don't know what it is really. I think I described them as pirate farmers.
Yeah.
It's near enough, isn't it? It's an approximation of it. If I was going to do it,
yeah,
I'd go with that. But
do it then.
War, come on!
Right, so this is Cornish Janner.
Best side to come to us this season, despite the referee being extremely irritating today. We just need to forget about today and move on to Tuesday night. We've been second best all game. We picked the wrong lineup, and Leeds wanted it more. And fair play to them. Leeds have basically shown to Southampton that they're not bowing out of this autos race just yet.
Cornish Janner, we're in there. We're in the race. He's a Leeds fan, isn't he?
He is more or less.
Yeah. Maybe he could keep Plymouth as his second team. Like his big team is Leeds, small team is Plymouth.
He mentioned his uncle being a Leeds fan.
Yeah.
When we did the home game, and just I don't know where his uncle lives, but I assume in Leeds. Let's for the purposes of this, get yourself moved up here. It's absolutely fine. Although he does seem to like a long bus ride, so maybe just go for every game anyway.
They really didn't like that referee, did they?
No, I
For
thought
a very uncontroversial performance.
Yeah, I thought it was just sort of fine.
It was a bit like seeing their anger at just them fouling us was a bit like the Sheffield United fans absolutely losing their shit after Holgate had gone through Matoma knee height. Like, what a disgrace, ref.
That was a terrible tackle, wasn't
incredible, wasn't it?
Chris Wilder didn't entirely say it was a red card either. Because I was looking him up for this actually to see if he'd said anything about it, and he went, "Some people don't like that sort of thing." Was as much as he'd say, as close as he'd get to saying, "Yeah, that is a red card."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Can't do anything.
He might have caught him.
You can't do anything these days. That's the gist of it.
Game's gone, hasn't it?
It's the woke right, isn't it? As we were saying, we've pivoted horrendously now to the right. I did see us described as the TSB Tea Party.
Very much so.
That's what we're doing now. That's the grift.
That's what the teabagging was about.
Yes.
All part of the party.
All that. Yeah.
No teabag, no party.
If you will fall asleep in the office, what do you expect to happen?
Fair enough. Should we hear from someone else who was annoyed at the referee?
Yeah.
The Evans boys.
Right.
It's one of them's a boy, the other one's a man. He's very much his dad, and the child doesn't play a huge part in it other than to say "Green Army."
What? Sorry.
Green Army.
Green Army.
Is that? Have I mixed my accent up there? I feel that's something else now.
Are you a pirate or a farmer there?
Green Army. That's
closer
farmer.
to closer to Bristol, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's that sort of neck of the woods.
Yeah.
It's only 4 hours from there.
It's just round the corner, isn't it?
It's really close.
Yeah,
really close. But they were a bit annoyed by not having a penalty because, as you'll hear in this clip, he thought it was handball.
No, he did. He thought, didn't he? Yeah.
He did.
He really thought, yeah.
Yeah, I listened to it many times, him saying that.
Yeah. You've stuck it on a loop here, haven't you?
I have, just because I had to listen to it on a loop, because when I'm editing the clips, I listen to them over and over and to chop this out and add the little starts and ends, and I put little fade-ins on them too, because you complain if I don't, and all that sort of stuff.
They sound sloppy if you don't, so I'm glad that you do. I'm glad
What's the thing I do? Something 3dB. I run some sort of filter over it to do that. Hard limit to 3dB is what I do.
You hard limit it. Hard limiter sounds like an 80s action film with Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
It'd be good actually.
Hard limit.
But yeah, I put it on a little loop just because it's something nice about the way he says it.
That really, really sears into your brain, doesn't it? Sort of Guantanamo Bay style.
It wasn't a handball either.
No.
We've all been there, though, where you're shouting for something and you don't really know what you're shouting for. And then sort of halfway through, you're like, I don't actually know what noise is coming out of my mouth.
Just swept along by the crowd. Yeah,
sometimes as well, you look around, you're really certain of something. You look at the faces around you and people are giving you I don't think it was, mate. And you have to go, no. I'm sure it went out of play. Yeah. Did it not? No, it went, full ball.
But what you're doing now is you're engaging me on a rational level, and that's not what was happening there.
I'm still annoyed about actually something he did a few minutes ago, so I'm getting cross about this too. He did. This guy had a clip actually of the one where Somerville, it turns out, didn't actually run the ball out of play, and then their defender moaned at the ref enough that he eventually gave it, even though the linesman hadn't given it. He had a clip of that. It didn't go out of play.
No,
I'm almost certain the ball didn't go out of play. Like probably half of it did.
It's in. It's in. Is that what you were shouting?
It's what I would have been shouting.
Yeah. Had you not been getting teabagged at that moment?
I don't think that was then. That was later. But yes, as I said, he was at that end right in front of where Somerville didn't take the ball out. But that means he was also at the end where Rutter scored and where the Leeds fans were. So this is the second goal unfolding, and if you listen carefully, you can even hear Rutter booting the ball, which is quite pleasant.
If it was a cartoon illustration, would it have the word thwack?
It definitely would.
Oh, freaking heck.
You mentioned before that he's got a boy with him, his boy.
Yeah.
Frickin' heck is a dad swear, isn't it? When you've got a young child.
Yeah. You freaking character. Get in the car.
Why are you speaking to mummy like that?
Fair. My kids are fully aware of, I think, all the swear words other than maybe the C-bomb. I've never heard them use that. But they're going into secondary school next year.
They're going to hear it all.
You need to know these things.
Especially in the mean streets of Ponty.
Exactly.
It's like you've got to be able to survive.
Yeah. So they're all fine. They're all right with a bit of swearing now.
Yeah. My 12-year-old called me a prick the other day.
Fair point.
Because I think we were playing Fortnite or FIFA or whatever.
What had you done?
Something
prickish.
Some prickish worthy of being called a prick, presumably.
It was prick the insult that Chris Coleman objected to on Sunderland Till I Die. I think he's outside the ground and someone calls him prick.
I've still not seen that.
I think there's a new series as well, but I don't think it's quite as mad because it's kind of the grace and.
I mean, you say that they've just sacked a manager after 12 games. So.
Yeah, they have. I've got a bit of a clip of that stuff out later on actually.
Oh, nice tease, babes.
There you go. But yeah, someone calls me a prick, and he said, "How can I be a prick? I'm married with 5 kids." Is his defence? He's like, well, you does that mean something else in Wales? Being a prick.
All right.
But anyway,
just call him a character instead.
Yeah, but you're a prick, Dan. So don't worry about that. Even
Thanks,
though
mate.
you've only got 2 kids, so you're definitely a prick.
Yeah.
Where else should we go next? Stick in Plymouth.
Let's do that. We haven't been there enough recently.
Go. Let's listen from Argyle Live.
I think also sometimes you just have to give credit to the opposition. They are clearly a very, very good side, oozing with talent. I mean, Rutter, as I think I said at least once in one of the pods after we played them previously this season, is a £40 million player. 40 times our transfer record for someone who's playing in the Championship is not bad. I think Ashley Phillips really actually handled him very well by and large. So it's frustrating, but I think green shoots definitely still there. And yeah, like I said, sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say we're playing a team who are very much on form at the moment, and just not our day.
Is he rating Rutter at £40 million now, or is he suggesting that's what we paid for him? Because we didn't pay that for him.
I think he's saying that's what we paid for him.
I don't think it was it?
No.
Mid-20s plus add-ons, and we went down, so we didn't pay the add-ons, I'm sure.
No. He is a £40 million player, though. I do agree.
Yeah.
More than that now.
More, yeah.
If we saw, what would you sell him for now?
I wouldn't.
Obviously, you wouldn't. Say the club was folding and we had to sell him.
Right.
What would you accept?
I'd say, oh, thank God for that sweet relief from this lifelong burden. Oh, but you want me to sell him, right?
We could fold the club and just keep Rutter.
Yeah.
Just keep him.
Keep him knocking about.
Yeah.
He's getting a bit shy with his let's goes and stuff now, and he's pretending to. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
The videos. He's going, no, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it's just a twist on the theme, isn't it? He's having a bit of fun with it.
It's like when you have to say Will's probate and conveyancing like 3 or 4 times a week. You just got to find new ways of doing it.
I am now projecting further down the road and wondering what it'd be like if we were to get promoted. How is Jorginho going to mark that moment?
On a horse.
Yeah, riding a horse.
Yeah.
Jumping over a fence.
Right. In the stadium?
Potentially.
Because I thought horses in stadia were Daniel Farke's domain.
He wasn't comfortable on the horse, though, was he?
No.
Why was he on a horse?
It was because he was said to look like a Native American, which all feels a little bit cultural appropriation-y now.
I'm going to say we shouldn't do that at the end of the season.
Mind you, with our new TSBT party, our hideous swerve to the right to hoover up those numbers, we're all for cultural appropriation now? And we need the wokerati to shut up. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to get a headdress just to make sure.
Yeah. Just to really, yeah.
It's really welcome the San Francisco 49ers.
Goodness me. Right, where do we go next, Michael, on your magical mystery tour?
I think that is enough Plymouth for this season.
Yes.
We might never play them again. Think about that.
It'd be nice. We've done it too much recently.
When we go up and we just never see them.
Mm.
Something to think about.
Used to be like that with like Millwall and stuff, didn't it?
Got Millwall coming up later as well.
For a bit.
All the lovely places. Anyway, let's go to Swansea and hear from Curtis Evans. And
Is it Curtis Evans?
It's not Curtis Evans, no. Unless that's a very bad Welsh accent you're trying to do. But this is his...
Oh, I meant to say, by the way, sorry, just on that, the Curtis Jones man who we mentioned on Propaganda in the last couple of weeks, and the perfume merchant with Van Dijk, a number of people got in touch on Twitter as well and did a little bit of Googling around this. It sounds like that's not a Jordanian like mistranslation or whatever. Apparently, Van Dijk smells amazing on the pitch because he's done an interview before where he said he wears aftershave before he goes out there. So people who stand close to him say that he smells absolutely amazing when he's playing football. And I think that's probably the closest reference or approximation to it that we can get, is that he smells fantastic on the pitch. So he's known for being a perfume merchant, for spraying man stink on him before he goes out there.
He looks like he'd smell good, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like working in this office, isn't it?
Yeah.
Similar.
Links Africa all over the place.
Who's the best smelling Leeds player?
I reckon Jorginho's going to smell pretty good. Somerville's,
he's always very well groomed, isn't he?
He's going to be drenched in cool water.
Strouk.
By Davidoff. Strouk, yes.
Yeah.
He's going to smell amazing.
And weirdly doesn't put anything on.
Yeah.
No aftershave, though.
It smells of baby powder.
Just coming out of his pores. Just smells unbelievable. Unbelievable hard. Yeah. Potentially.
Anyway, back to Curtis Evans, yeah.
Nice to think about Pascal. Get well soon. This is his first half. Unfolding, unravelling, whichever way you want to see it.
That's a good start, isn't it? Flipping it. 1-0 Leeds, Crescencio, Somerville getting the goal. Shot was brought in and it came in deflected off, I think, Humphreys or Cabango, one of the two, but Leeds United take the lead. Still plenty of time to go, but 8 minutes gone. Oh no, Pirro. Players have scored 2-0 in less than 10 minutes. It just had to be him, didn't it? But this is embarrassing. 2-0 down inside 10 minutes. Embarrassing, really. But Joel Pirro, scored against Leeds United and Road and done it again. Shock horror. Oh my God. How embarrassing. Oh my Lord. 3-0, Willie Notto. Caught up, free man, Willie Notto was there. Easy finish for him, really, but my God, 3-0, not even half time. How embarrassing is this?
The air of resignation. You know, when we kept getting pumped in the Premier League, it was a bit like that, wasn't it?
I like it when the third goes in and you can hear people smacking advertising boards at the back of the stand or whatever. People just go, fucking hell!
At what point when you're 2-0 down after 10 minutes and your former strikers just return to score, do you not just go, I might just leave this?
Yeah.
What if there's a comeback? That's the thing.
You saw how they were playing. There was never going to be a comeback.
But then you've got the once-in-a-generation memory of Southampton away when we were 3-0 down and we did
playing like absolute shit.
Yeah.
And then you come back anyway.
It's 4-3, so there's always that miraculous chances, and that's the joy of football. Although the phrase he did keep using was embarrassing.
He comes back to a different phrase at the end of the game, which needs some more examination. But first, we'll hear his second half. I've kept this to 15 seconds.
Yep.
Just because it was not as many goals, and you capture the real hope he has going into this second half.
Right, second half now. Surely things can't get worse. But go on. Come on. This is absolutely pathetic.
It's as close as they came.
Yeah.
That's his reaction to things not getting worse, I suppose.
It's the kind of it's almost the opposite of limbs, isn't it? Well, it could. At least Leeds kind of stopped attacking and took some players off. That was kind, I suppose. So this is well. There's first bit of this is from halftime actually. Then a phrase he uses a couple of times at full time, and it's a phrase I've never actually heard before.
No words really, but Menz versus Boyz. Total Menz versus Boyz out there. It is virtually Menz versus Boyz, pretty much.
Menz versus Boyz. Like the 90s, 80s soul group. What were they called?
Menz to Boyz. Boys to Menz.
Yes.
Yep. The Wenger Menz.
Yep. Echo and the Bunny Menz.
Yeah. Yeah, some good bands.
Yeah.
There. Boys against men's against boys.
I quite like it.
It does sort of make sense. English is a very confusing language.
Yep.
And maybe it's
not his first, is it?
I was going to say.
Not his native tongue.
Maybe not. Maybe he's done it. He's just doing it for the YouTube.
Do you remember that song from the 1980s, Land Down Under? Who sang that?
It was Men's
at Work.
Men's at Work, wasn't it? Yeah,
correct. And the safety dance as well. Men's Without Hats. Remember that one? Just before your time, maybe.
No, not so much. Not so much.
What now, Michael? Where now?
Bit more Swansea before we move on.
Yeah.
This is from Total Swans TV. This was a tribute they did on the 29th minute. Kind of picked up on it on TV. I think there's a little bit of a pause. One of their supporters, Chris Brown, he passed away at 29. And they did a round of applause for him and stuff. Found some videos of him online, actually. Looks like just a kind of part of the furniture of Swansea, one of the people that everyone knew. Quite a good laugh. They got him to do some videos and stuff, interviewing players and stuff. It's quite nice, feel-good stuff if you want to go and watch some of it. So this is as the applause is coming to an end for him, and they've started singing a song for him, and it ends in a very football-y kind of way, which I think is something he probably would have appreciated.
Chrissy Brown's Barbie, are they? Chrissy Brown's Barbie, are they? Chrissy Brown's Barbie, are they? You jack bastard! You jack bastard! You jack bastard! You jack bastard!
That's nice, that. I like that.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, you're right.
It's good.
It encapsulates football fans perfectly.
It's weird because that's nice, but yeah, when people often shout stuff for you down the street. I don't think they mean it with such warmth.
Well, as they're coming past you, I told you bald bastard. Like, stop crying.
It's a bald fraud.
Right.
Please.
Okay, bald fraud. Where do we go?
It's the go-to insult.
Yeah. Where do we go now?
Well, we'll keep in the promotion race, and the bald fraud we're going to face and inevitably beat on Friday, as he's discovered. And this is the Total Saints podcast discussing our game.
Swansea to Southampton.
What, travel?
Probably just round the corner, innit?
Not too far.
Yeah. Just had a look on the train. Nearly 3.5 hours.
It's not far at all. Not far at all.
That's all right for an away trip in England. Usually it'll be you've got yourself at 5 a.m. to go. Thanks to Sky.
So you got to go Newport, Bristol, Swindon, Reading, Basingstoke, Winchester, Southampton to get there. Being forced to go through Reading. Imagine that.
The Jimmy Kebe route? No, he didn't play for it.
Yeah, because they give like heritage lines names like that, don't they? Yeah, for memorable people.
It's either him or Noel Hunt.
Oh, of course. Another classic.
Anyway, we've arrived in Southampton, thankfully. And Total Saints podcast.
Yes, so they're discussing our game against Leicester, but they play Hull as we record tonight, which is Tuesday.
Yeah. Let's make it sound timeless. So evergreen. They played on they're playing Tuesday.
Or did they? I thought making it sound evergreen.
Right.
If they play.
If it happened.
And if they play other games afterwards too, so
yeah,
absolutely perfect.
Those Saints guys, right. Anyway, so they're playing Hull the other day.
Yesterday, today, tomorrow. Who knows?
And is this what happened?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Leeds versus Leicester on Friday, and I'm trying to work out what the best possible outcome for us is. Have you been looking at this, Steve? Have you been?
I think I'm
2 points to go missing again.
Yeah, I'm kind of settling on a draw for that one. I mean, part of me thinks Leeds winning keeps Leicester in touch, and because I still think they're catchable. But the problem, if Leeds beat Leicester again, then all of a sudden, I mean, you know what they're like. They'll be chirping till the cows come home, which might be fine. I mean, lull them into a false sense of security. But I think beating the league leaders again would give them the confidence to kind of keep going on this handy run they're on. So I think clipping their wings slightly while keeping both of them in touch, and as you say, a point goes missing. With a draw, so I think that's probably the best. But ultimately, you can make a case for any of the three results. It's like, well, okay, well we've gained on one of the two teams at least.
I know what I think the best outcome is. What do you reckon? Leeds win.
Yeah.
Can I just draw your attention just when it comes to us crowing about getting our noses back into second place? At the Stats Saint, allow me to date this for you as well. This was the 22nd of January 2024. Saints FC have momentum, but can Ipswich hold their lead? I'm not sure if the first is doable. That's them winning the league, as Leicester are 8 points ahead. But with LUFC out of the picture, anything could happen, right? It's going to be an exciting end to the season for sure. What's your end of season predictions? So if we've been dickheads about temporarily nosing into second place, it's because of that.
But what are you saying? Do two wrongs make a right?
Yes.
Your pettiness in general?
Yes.
It's just one account.
I don't care. It represents all their fan base.
It reminds me of that Leeds fan who suggested that we should drop down the table to get the momentum of moving back up the table, saying that us potentially doing the double over the league leaders would be a false sense of security on our ninth win in a row.
Damn.
Yeah, they look to be 6 points clear with a game left, but that's their sort of overconfidence that will cause them problems.
They're wobbling.
In the long run. Maybe next year, maybe next season.
Yeah, we should win that on Friday. But just speaking about stuff that's been on TV this week, and midweek games, did you see Jesse on the Monday Night Football?
No.
No, nor did I really. I saw some stolen moments of it, but I thought, why annoy yourself?
Yeah, basically. And also, just to completely... I didn't watch the game, but I imagine it was completely shit as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The Sky have really excelled themselves this week, and the Sunday games were all awful too, weren't they? It was Luton, Man United was the big one, and then there was something else shite on before it as well. Something else that looked like a League One game. It was Brighton against someone. Sheffield United against Brighton. That's a championship game. Yeah. I know Brighton are good now and everything, but
maybe we just better off staying here playing Plymouth every week.
Although
that's where the glamour's at.
Although it's not often you see a murder occur on live TV on a Sunday afternoon. Mason Holgate. That was brutal, wasn't it? You see that tackle?
I did. I did also listen to Chris Wilder talk about it, and he just went,
He might have caught him.
Listen, you the modern game, well, what can you do?
Well, we've been referencing our big, pivot to the right in order to hoover up audience. I reckon Chris Wilder is genuinely about this close to blaming the woke karate for something. It'll happen before the season's out, and he's going to crack.
Pat Bamford.
Right.
He'll blame Pat Bamford as well.
We just need to celebrate promotion by giving Pat Bamford a sandwich and getting him to send him Wilder a video.
Yeah, and it won't be your basic 2 slices of bread with some ham in between. It'll be some open top to fair with a fancy, with the fancy relish on top.
And if we do go up, he's not going to be eating it in front of a Premier League manager, is he, by then? Because they will definitely be mathematically down by the point.
Which I fancy might happen anyway.
Yeah, they're not staying up, are they?
No, and that's good.
It is. They're getting what they deserve, really.
Yeah.
For employing Paul. You can't employ Paul Heckingbottom for that long and not be a championship team.
Are you looking forward to one of the other teams coming down? Because there's going to be 3. Talking about Everton, he's still maintaining that it's their turn out of all the teams. Because I think Forest coming down would be pretty funny in terms of.
I mean, I want both Everton and Forest to come down, but it's probably unlikely they both will. Just because I think
pick one, then go on.
I don't know, because you've seen stuff about Everton's new owners this week as well.
Yeah,
like they're completely skint.
Because they're optimistic now that we're saying, like on the Monday Night Football, that they're expecting to get a couple of points back from their appeal to the panel. There's been sort of a little rumour bubbling under that's going to be the case, which would put them a couple of points clear of Luton, who have dropped into 18th on goal difference, albeit they've got a game in hand on Everton.
It'd be kind of nice if they got some back, but then they immediately took more off them.
Which is kind of what I want to happen, yeah.
If they went, yeah, you're right, we were harsh the first time.
Have two back.
It's only a 5-point penalty. However, there's a second lot of charges, and because there's a second offence, you're getting another 10 off. So, soz about that. 15 in total. Best of luck, Sean.
Yeah, see you for the next appeal. Anyway.
But no, I didn't watch Jesse. I saw a clip that was tagged in of the little intro to Monday Night Football, and Jesse was stood in a really weird, wide-legged stance in the middle of the screen.
That's the Tory power stance.
Yeah, he was doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, basically anything he says at this point, he could explain the most wondrous tactical ideas to me in theory, and I would still have the memory of his 30-odd games he managed at Leeds and just go, yeah, but why did none of that ever happen then?
Yeah.
Like, it's very well saying, oh, you do this and then this happens, but it never did happen.
Yeah, like throwing a net over the opposition. But what if they kick the ball past the net and just use the acres of space that you've left elsewhere on the pitch to beat you?
It's the net's fault.
Right.
It's not Jesse's fault. But yeah, I quite enjoyed...
Was the net stressed?
The net was stressed. Didn't have enough clarity. I enjoyed that he was on there with Carragher, who, when they once did that Sky interview together when Jesse was the Leeds manager, Carragher basically couldn't hide his disdain for Jesse and was giving side glances to the camera like, this guy is talking fucking nonsense.
Yeah, he'll have talked about his usual stuff, lanes, half spaces, some German words.
Yeah, well, I've seen all the tactical perverts, or a number of them have kind of leapt on this and gone, it was great to get that insight and that clarity, funnily enough, and that level of detail. Problem is, none of it passed the eye test, or indeed the results test, did it? And because he's
what
not...
about the metrics test?
Well, but because he's not gone and got a job elsewhere since, you can't put any of it to the test. You can't say, well, look, you were demonstrated that it failed at Leeds, but, fair enough, you've taken it to another club and it's worked. He's just doing telly. Take it somewhere of a similar level and prove to us that we were wrong and you were right, but he won't do it, and he hasn't done it yet.
Well, no one's going to give him a job at a similar level.
Why is that?
Because of the results.
Yeah.
Because of all the bad stuff that happened and the way that they'll be able to watch actual footage of Leeds games rather than just listen to him this time. Yeah,
have you seen that the USMNT Stan accounts have found Forest now that Gio Reyna's gone there? That one was doing the round.
Look, I know I said I wanted Forest to go down, but they don't deserve that.
No. No.
Gio Reyna might not be that good.
Is that the conclusion? Like, yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Right.
He's probably fine, but he might not be like world class.
Might not be as good as his dad.
Potentially. Yeah.
Right. Let's move on then to...
Where else should we go? Let's stick in the champ. In fact, let's have a little, while we're discussing Jesse and all that went before it. Brendan Aronson scored a goal. Did you see that?
Yep. It was a late win, and he celebrated by doing that. Is it the I'm here, I've arrived kind of thing, even though you've...
Yeah, I don't know what the point in was.
Yeah.
It was an all right finish.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the start of something new for Brendan, albeit given what his own employees were saying afterwards.
Yeah, a quote from their sporting chief, Oliver Runert, who says, with Brendan, it comes down to the fundamental theme. Brendan is a super footballer who must accept the fact that in football, a certain physical aspect is needed to win the ball and contest challenges.
Right. And that was, I'm just checking the date on that. That's February the 19th, 2024.
Yeah. It sounds similar, doesn't it? To the things
and that's Derek Ray, who does the commentary on FIFA, EA, FC.
Oh, is that him, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So it sounds like he's continuing on a theme, is Brendan. Anyway, maybe we'll get him back in summer.
Just get him on the roids.
Look, I've been advocating this for well over a year. If he'd been on the roids for a year, think where he'd be now.
Just say he's injured for a year, disappears, comes back.
Exactly.
He looks like Akin Fenway.
He's just been pumped full of human growth hormone. Big veins bulging out of his massive head.
He's incredibly angry.
He could do with a bit of roid rage.
With a tiny penis.
He's grown some small moves and his testicles have shrunk. But he can bench press a car. It's absolutely fine.
Dear me. Right, well, we'll see what happens to Brendan, shall we? Hey. Next.
Lions TV.
Yep. Is this another Cockney knees up for us, Michael?
No. Because he's angry now.
Oh, right.
Because it turns out they're really shit, Millwall. I remember we beat them earlier in the season. It was like, it feels like a good result down there. It turns out everyone beats them now. They lost at home to Sheffield Wednesday, and they've now taken 1 point from their last 7.
That's not many, is it?
No.
So they're banging trouble then?
Very much so, yes. And they go to Southampton at the weekend after Southampton play Hull, which may or may not have taken place.
Yeah. Which happened in the infinite space-time continuum.
Yeah, and then they've played Millwall at least once since then, or will in future.
Yeah.
Or might not.
Or might not.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is the Lions TV bloke. He's not doing his songs because he's getting cross. And when Millwall lose, he becomes more Millwall-y.
If you can't see it, I can see it, everyone can see it. And does getting rid of Edwards think we're going to solve the problem? No, because them players ain't playing for him and they're not playing for the shirt. Whether they're in the right positions or not, I don't fucking care. When you put a Millwall shirt on, you run through a fucking wall. End of story. You go down giving effort, I ain't got a problem. So fucking next week against Southampton, you better turn up, Millwall team. You fucking better turn, because we want more, we expect more, and there's 3,000 down there. Until then, no fucking Indian, maybe a Carvery.
He got there in the end.
He did get there in the end. He got there in the end. I've never heard anyone so angry about Carvery.
I mean, that's basically what we're telling Brendan Aronson to do, isn't it? Just go to a Carvery more, be fine.
If send Brendan to live with that fella.
Yeah, he's terrifying. There's a little bit of vaguely threatening. It's almost like you're, sort of foreign ultras who turn up at people's houses kind of vibe to it there. Not necessarily suggesting he would, but there's kind of an air of it.
It's Millwall in it. Ups their old tricks.
I think you just need to ask him about Paul Weller or something just to calm him down, get him onto what he likes.
Right, and he's had this to say about the Southampton game then, has he?
We're 1 point above QPR. QPR play at home against Rotherham. We play away at the Saints. 3,000 Millwall down now, and guess what? Nil point. We get anything from Southampton, I will eat this hat live. I might even look, I've even got a backup hat, and I'll tell you what, I'll eat fucking both of them. And I'll never criticise a referee again, because it is not happening. It's going to be a cricket score.
Bodes well for the weekend, doesn't it?
Never mind. I like Millwall, though, I will say, ahead of the weekend.
Yeah.
Great bunch of lads. Mm-hmm. And let's hope they can get their act together.
I can think with that big pivot to the right, they're going to like this as well.
Yeah, perfect, actually.
They're going to love it.
Yeah, really good.
Right. To Hull?
Do you want to go Hull or do you want to go Sunderland?
Depends. Do you want to go poverty then comedy? Which way around do you want to?
I don't know which way. You're gonna have to work out. You're gonna have to explain which is which there.
That's not cleared it up, has it, at all?
Yeah, we're not making fun of Hull or Sunderland either.
Yeah.
I feel like all shit Northern towns are in it together.
Yeah,
as a man from Wakefield. Let's go Sunderland first.
All right, okay.
Because they've sacked Michael Beale. They're making a big thing, I noticed, about how he's only done 12 games.
Oh, there was a segue there via EastEnders, wasn't there? Beale, EastEnders, Millwall. Didn't even think about it. Sorry.
Never mind. Yeah, big thing saying, it's scandalous. We've sacked the manager after 12 games. It makes us look like an absolute joke. I had a look. This does indeed seem quite rare in Sunderland's history. At Leeds, it's nothing.
No.
We had 2 managers did less than that last season. Well, Gracia did 12, actually, as did Rosler. But Allardyce obviously only did like 4 or something.
Just
did it at
the 4,
end.
just the 4.
But then looking back, you've got Jock Stein, Brian Clough managed less, and then Milanic and Hockaday managed less than 12 games as well. So really, it's quite a long-term appointment.
He's a statue. He's an absolute mainstay of that club, isn't he?
was Michael Beale. But Sunderland fans are pretty happy anyway because they never liked him. This is Gilesy and Steve, are one of them, and this is what they had to say about Michael Beale's time. And you know, sometimes you say, "Oh, it's a tough act to follow." I get the feeling that's maybe not the case with Michael Beale.
You should never have appointed him in the first place. He's got a shit CV, shit personality. They got him because he was free.
There you go.
Shit personality.
Why have we got footage of Rob's job interview?
Hey, that's harsh.
Hey, come on. Would have said it about you, but we didn't interview you, did you? You just turned up.
Exactly.
You didn't really interview me, to be fair.
It's a shit personality, though.
Do you want a job?
Yeah. Well, not really.
No. Sounds like a terrible idea. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, shit personality. It's not something you...
Is that a low blow?
It's a bit.
Right.
But he did blank that player, didn't he, this weekend?
Although he then claimed to have not seen him, didn't he? So that was his response.
That's a lie, though, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
In your opinion?
What's he going? What is Michael Beale going to sue me?
Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you've got a shit personality either, Michael. I think you're really good lad.
Stephen Gilesy.
Although, you know, you've got the fair comment defence, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think there were plenty of Sunderland and Rangers fans who would back me up on him having a shit personality.
How would you describe Jesse Marsh's personality?
Self-confident. Unshakable.
Yeah. I often think that about Marsh when I see him talking. I think, to have the confidence of Jesse Marsh in every aspect of life. But you do wonder how much of it's just completely fronting out and bullshitting your way through it. There's a brilliant article which you can find if you Google "everyone's just winging it all of the time," which is from some years back. And you're like, oh yeah, no. I think that's one of the things you realise when you get to middle age. Actually, you go like, no, everyone's just completely is winging it, just making it up as you go.
Yeah, like when you first get a proper job and there are people in management and they're sort of saying stuff you don't understand, and you're like, oh right,
well, you must know stuff.
Must be difficult. This. Then they're longer and you think, oh, fucking idiots. I know I am too, but still, I wish I was paid more.
Yeah.
Wish I was paid that sort of an idiotic salary.
I was going to say ITV never did make you redundant, did they?
No, never did.
Never did. Anyway, where were we with this?
If anyone's listening and wants to send me a check, it'd only be fair.
Yeah,
I would
just
say.
to make up for the lack of redundancy.
I'll take $1,000 in cash.
Right.
If do you
want to keep it off book?
If it's on offer,
yeah.
Just drop it down the office.
Yeah,
seems fair enough.
That's fair enough. I think that's fine.
Yeah. So Beale was sacked after losing to Tony Mowbray, who Sunderland sacked earlier in the season for not being good enough. And Tony Mowbray took over from Wayne Rooney, who was brought in to replace the guy who was doing well at Birmingham. So Sunderland and Birmingham basically had between them, they've got some weird thing going on where they managed to torch their seasons all around the same managers. This weird thing going on. Tony Mowbray is now taking time away, isn't it?
It's almost like both of them have got just stupid owners.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. It is a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tony Mowbray is now having some time off because he's got some health problems. So best of luck to him. But I've gone back to an old clip of him at Sunderland, just discussing revels, but with such passion. It's worth finding the video of this as well, because
what are revels for anybody who doesn't know about
revels? Are like a mixed bag of chocolates. So they kind of look the same, don't they? But they're different flavours within the bag. But it's worth finding the video of it as well, because Mowbray's eyes are just gleaming throughout this whole clip, and it's just quite nice to see a man so impressed with something.
What's the worst one you can get? What's the worst?
I'm not sure. I don't think I used to be coconut when I was a kid. They used to have the coconut one. They don't have coconut revel anymore, do they? I like the orange revel. Yeah.
I don't like the raisin. The raisin is a no-no for me.
Is that right? I'll eat anything. Can I start now? Oh, listen, this will be finished before the end of the... I love revels. When I go to the pictures or the cinema with my wife, that's what I'll eat. So I like raisins. So when I go to the petrol station, I get chocolate revels and I keep them in my sort of just at the side there. So as I'm driving to work and stuff, I'm eating even at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm eating chocolate raisins. Oh, listen, what I don't understand is why they changed them. I'm pleased they got rid of the coconut.
So much for it being a quick press conference. Nobody being here.
Sorry, we're going to get...
I'm only joking.
We're going to get rocking. I won't eat them all, I promise. I wasn't sure that was happening today because I brought myself one of these, you see, just in case, but I can put it back. Sorry.
Hello.
Hi, how are we doing?
He's brought a picnic to the presser, hasn't he?
Well, he's got a bag of Revels on the table, and he just can't help going in for him. You can see he's genuinely like, I fucking love these.
There was very much an air of, Grandad, we bought you some Revels to that, wasn't there?
Every time you thought he was going to stop, he just carried on. You imagine him like reaching down, crack open a can or something.
He's not having the coconut ones, none of that fancy foreign muck.
Guess it's a Yorkie that gets out of his pocket midway through. He goes, I did buy this, but I've got the Revels now. So
he strikes me as a kindly gent, does Tony Mowbray.
I've always liked Tony Mowbray, actually.
Yeah.
He's just always never seems to have been a dick about anything. So, I hope he's all right anyway. He's due, I think he's taking like to the end of the season, maybe, away from Birmingham.
It was 8 weeks, isn't it? And there's not that much left of it. So,
yeah. So good luck to him anyway. And I hope he's rest up, get your Revels in.
Yep.
Enjoy him. But enjoy him by being fucking disciplined.
Yes,
that's what I will say.
Yeah. The whole boy.
The whole boy. This is we'll finish on him. It was the lad who was at Leeds against Norwich.
Oh, speaking. This is the kid who was phoning his grandparents in the car. Yeah.
All
right, Grandad, we're going off to Leeds.
Grandma.
Yeah.
He rings her every video now. I've watched a few for a score prediction.
She's absolutely fed up of him.
She often has no idea what's going on, I don't think, because he's like, I mean, I assume they're a whole family, I don't know, but he's ringing her up saying, what do you think the Norwich Leeds score is going to be? It's like,
Hull is basically one big family.
It kind of is. But I really like this lad. He's so enthusiastic. I can't really dislike him. But when he was at Ellen Road for what he treated as being like one of the greatest games he'd ever seen, even though it was Leeds against Norwich, and we were all like, yeah, it was a win.
Yeah. But there've been loads of them this season.
It was fine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fine, decent enough performance, not spectacular, but he was like, wow, I can't believe it. And he loved Ellen Road too.
Yeah.
He was at Huddersfield this week.
Do you know why he loved it? It's the McDonald's there.
Well,
you know what the kids are like. He wanted to get his nuggets and his Happy Meal.
But yeah, Hull plays Huddersfield, and he went to Huddersfield, and he had this to say about Huddersfield.
Well, we're here. What a stadium this is, honestly. I'm buzzing for it.
I saw a video where it said that this was in the top 4 ugliest stadiums in the UK. Whoever's ranked that's definitely a Leeds fan, because this is beautiful.
There you go.
Beautiful.
I mean, the Huddersfield Stadium, it's got the banana-shaped stands, which are different to most of your flat-pack stands that you see, you know, like the more modern grounds that are being rebuilt, like Derby, Middlesbrough, things like that, Reading and all that. So, you know, fair enough. And it's set against a nice sort of hillside, isn't it? Like the valley, it's got the trees up it and all that. So
I know when it was first built.
I don't think they have trees in Hull, do they?
They've got a
couple.
Fish.
The tree.
That's what they call it.
They celebrate and dance around it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I remember when it was built, thinking it was quite nice. But I don't think it's aged well, personally.
But I don't mind going there, to be fair. But I wouldn't get talk about it like I was David Attenborough in Rainforest or something.
Look at that. Bloody hell. What's it called these days? I still call it the McAlpine Stadium.
John Smith?
It's been Gal Farm. It's been John Smith's.
It is let's have a look. John Smith's, apparently.
Oh, there you go.
Let's have a look.
Oh, Kirklees Stadium. Oh, that's kind of the note. Yeah.
That's for when they're in the
Kirklees
Champions League.
Stadium.
They're not allowed to name it after a product, are they? So
Probably not.
You've got to give it a general name. Yeah, it's been the Gal Farm, the Alfred McAlpine, who presumably they must have been the architects for it.
Building company, I think, McAlpine.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It's Huddersfield stuff anyway. Let's not worry too much. Did you see what happened in their game anyway? Huddersfield versus Hull.
I was just going to say, when was it built, that stadium?
Mid-90s,
94, yeah. So it's got that 90s architecture vibe about it, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Anyway.
What did happen in the game?
Hull were leading. Huddersfield equalised on 92. Hull won it on 94.
Excellent.
In some ways, that's the best way to win, isn't it? Because you've had to put up with the other fans sticking 2 fingers up at you, and then you get to do it later, like a minute later. So nice to do it. But we've heard his excitement at everything, the Hull boy. So this is how it sounds when Hull score a 94th minute winner.
Go on.
There's a bitch invasion! What is going on? Come on! Oh, there's fights! There's pyros! There's That's everything!
That could be the final day. That's what I'm going to be like on the final day if we go up against Southampton.
That's everything.
Yeah. When it's just so overwhelming. You think you're going to faint. Have you ever had that at football where you think you're going to faint?
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
Reminds me of the in Bielsa's first season when we had that comeback against Blackburn. And my friend who I was with, he celebrated our opening goal like annoyingly cool. He was like Pep Guardiola or something. He just gave him like a low 5. And then when it all went wrong, but then Roof scored the winner, he was just howling at the moon. And people were looking at him like, are you okay, mate? Like, are you fine?
Did it a bit when we scored that goal against Preston, as we said, shouting it away. Fans are 100 metres away. Yes! Ah!
1,000 thoughts racing through your mind and just a noise coming out of your mouth.
Yeah, great stuff.
Glorious. More of that, please. More of that. We'll have that on Friday, shall we?
Yeah, let's.
As we close in on the title and beat the Bold Fraud again. That was Propaganda. Thanks for joining us on the show. You can find it on YouTube if you've been listening, and vice versa. We will vice versa being the podcast app that you're possibly listening in, or if you're on YouTube, it's in your podcast app. You know what I mean? You can listen, you can watch.
No idea what you're talking about.
It's time to go home, isn't it? See you later.
The Square Ball Podcast.